Welcome to this explainer. We're diving right into a completely fascinating, totally hidden universe that's operating inside your digestive tract this very second. It's a microscopic world that dictates far more about your daily health, your mood, and your long-term well-being than you probably ever imagined. We're kicking things off with a pretty intense, almost morbidly provocative thought from Hippocrates, dating all the way back to 400 BC. He famously said, "Death sits in the bowels." Now, for centuries, that was just taken as a philosophical observation. But today, incredible advancements in modern science and microbiology are proving his ancient statement to be astonishingly accurate.
To get why he was so spot on, we first need to look at the macro view, the basics of our digestive system.
On a macro level, we all know what it feels like when this intricate system goes sideways. You or someone close to you has likely dealt with the sheer frustration of GERD, where stomach acid just stubbornly flows back into the esophagus, or the unpredictable bloating and pain of irritable bowel syndrome. And then there are the heavy hitters, chronic conditions like inflammatory bowel disease, celiac disease, ulcers, and gallstones. For the longest time, medicine tried to solve these issues by only looking at the organs themselves.
But looking at the organs only tells half the story. It's time to zoom all the way in to the hidden microbial universe.
Because to truly understand the root cause of these digestive issues, and really to unlock the secrets of human health, we have to zoom right past the human tissue. Down here, your gut is home to roughly 100 trillion microbes. I mean, let that number really sink in for a second. We're talking about a massive, bustling ecological community of bacteria, viruses, and archaea. You are, quite literally, a walking, talking ecosystem.
And what's even wilder? These microscopic tenants carry about 150 times more genes than your entire human genome. Think about that. You actually have way more microbial DNA operating inside you than human DNA. They aren't just along for the ride as passive hitchhikers, they're active, absolutely vital participants in your biology.
Because of this massive systemic influence, science now classifies this microbial community as a newly discovered vital organ. And it definitely doesn't work in isolation. This organ communicates directly with your brain, your heart, and your immune system through this incredibly complex web of neural, endocrine, and metabolic pathways. It's essentially the command center for your body's overall balance.
So, that brings us to the big question. How does this internal command center actually keep us healthy? It all comes down to a state called eubiosis.
Eubiosis is basically the sweet spot. It's a state of perfect balance where your gut microbial community is thriving and living in total harmony with you, the host. In this state, your friendly, non-pathogenic microbes are actively defending your body against outside invaders, they're regulating your metabolism, and they're literally training your immune system how to behave.
When you hit this state of eubiosis, the positive effects just radiate across your entire body. We see improved insulin sensitivity, dramatically lower systemic inflammation, and even healthier skin. The gut-brain connection helps reduce stress and anxiety, while the gut-heart connection promotes cardiovascular health. It is just a beautiful, symbiotic relationship.
The secret to how they pull all this off lies in metabolites, specifically short-chain fatty acids, or SCFAs, which are produced when your microbes ferment dietary fibers. Take butyrate, for example. It's the primary energy source for the cells lining your colon, and it actually acts as an anticarcinogen, suppressing colon cancer cells. Then you have propionate, which regulates your insulin and helps your liver produce glucose, and acetate, which acts as an essential cofactor to help other good bacteria thrive. These tiny little molecules are absolutely crucial for your daily energy and for keeping disease at bay.
But like any delicate ecosystem, things can absolutely go wrong. And that brings us to dysbiosis. Dysbiosis is what happens when that beautiful internal balance collapses. It's a highly dangerous state where your beneficial microbes decrease and chaotic, opportunistic pathogens basically stage a hostile takeover. Unfortunately, this is triggered all the time by things we encounter every day in modern life: poor diets, sudden bacterial infections, and the overprescription of antibiotics.
When the gut falls into this unbalanced state, the protective barrier breaks down, and the systemic effects are honestly pretty devastating. Direct links start forming between your gut and some of the major life-threatening diseases we face today. The gut-brain axis can start triggering depression and cognitive decline, while the gut-liver axis promotes inflammation and non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. The damage literally radiates everywhere.
Let's break down exactly what diseases are driven by this imbalance. We're talking about obesity, triggered by altered fat accumulation and energy regulation, hypertension and vascular dysfunction, It even fuels cardiovascular disease. There are certain bad bacteria that produce a metabolite called TMXC, which directly contributes to clogged arteries. It alters insulin signaling, leading to type 2 diabetes. And specific pathogenic bacteria have even been identified as major players in colorectal and prostate cancers. This invisible imbalance inside you is quite literally dictating your susceptibility to severe illnesses.
I know that all sounds a little gloomy, but here is the incredible news. You are not powerless here. You can actually shape this microbiome.
You hold the ultimate tool to shape this entire internal universe, and that tool is your diet. When you load up on a high-fiber plant diet full of complex carbs, you are actively serving up a feast for your beneficial microbes. You're giving them exactly what they need to produce those healthy short-chain fatty acids we talked about. On the flip side, a high-fat, high-sugar, low-fiber diet literally starves those good bacteria. It strips them of their fuel, which basically rolls out the red carpet for pathogenic bacteria to thrive and trigger all that systemic inflammation.
And what's truly staggering here is the speed of all this. You'd probably think shifting an entire microbiome would take months or maybe even years, right? Well, clinical studies show that your gut microbiome composition actively alters in as little as 24 to 48 hours after a major diet change. In just 1 to 2 days of switching to a high-fiber or a high-fat diet, the very structure of your microbial community shifts to adapt to that new food source. You have near instant control over your inner ecosystem.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a provocative thought to chew on. When you sit down for your very next meal and you look at the plate in front of you, who are you really feeding? Are you just satisfying your own cravings in that moment, or are you actively nourishing the trillions of microscopic tenants that control your health, your mood, and your longevity? Thank you so much for exploring this fascinating hidden universe with me today. Remember, take care of your microbes, and they will take care of you.